Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, is back from the dead. This is the game I thought I would never get the chance to experience, just like Bone Storm or Lee Carvalho's putting challenge. But unlike those games, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game, was made available on January 14, 2021. Currently it's available as a digital download on the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, and the Xbox One, and I played it on the Switch. Originally a digital-only download on the PS3 and Xbox 360, it was delisted and lost to time and space. This time around, Limited Run Games is doing a physical edition to keep this from happening again, which is currently available for pre-order as of the recording of this video. The game is based off the Scott Pilgrim comics, as well as the movie from 2010. Set in my hometown of Toronto, the character of Scott Pilgrim must defeat all of the ex-boyfriends of Ramona Flowers. With this style of game, the story pretty much takes a backseat to the gameplay. You can control Scott and a variety of other characters as you battle your way through the side-scrolling streets of Toronto in this old-school beat-em-up style game. The game style is linear with very light RPG mechanics. The fun in this game is found in the combat and the music. With simple combat that is difficult to master in terms of timing, you will find yourself struggling by around level 2, especially if it's your first time playing the game. You start off with the staples of gaming: jump, block, light attack, heavy attack, and as you level up with experience points, you learn new moves. The goal is to essentially keep going right until you reach the end, and each level ends with a boss fight. Unlike most RPGs, leveling up your character does not improve your stats. It's mainly for unlocking new moves. With a wide range of enemies, awesome soundtrack, cool graphics, and fun combat, it's a very easy game to start playing and having fun. However, the game has a pretty steep difficulty curve if you don't know what you're doing, and if it's your first time playing, chances are you won't understand why it suddenly got so difficult. The game explains very little, a nod to older games that had very little hand-holding. When you defeat an enemy, they drop money, but the game doesn't tell you where to spend it. There are shops within the levels, but if you don't know about them, you can easily assume they're a part of the background and walk right by them, especially if you're focused on defeating the enemies and pushing forward in the level. Each shop has a simple layout, almost too simple, with every shop having different items and no way to know what the items do. It's essentially a game of chance and then memorization. In order to know the effects of each item, you have to purchase it, see what it does, and then decide if you want to buy it again or chance it on something else. Of course, it is a safe bet that the more expensive the item, the better it'll be for you. This is not only your main way of healing, but also your main way of increasing your stats. Unlike most RPGs, leveling up your character does not improve your stats. It's mainly for unlocking new moves. So if you don't spend your money, you'll essentially stay the same strength, and that difficulty curve will be truly noticeable. The enemy AI is pretty simple, yet unforgiving. Far too many times they'd be putting forth an attack for the exact moment I was going to stand back up, and I'd just get ragdolled for half my health. Once you understand the ins and outs of the game, it becomes incredibly enjoyable again. Awesome boss fights, which can be completely different from the rest of the enemies, helps keep the combat from getting stale. The locations and set pieces are recognizable if you know the city. From the CN Tower and Skydome to the TTC and Sneaky D's, and even the money, which is consistent with Canadian currency. Small details like that might bypass some people unfamiliar with the city, but it can put a smile on the face of someone who lives in this game in real life. Although I've yet to see flying piggy banks in the streets, but maybe one day. The game is fairly short. It can be beaten in roughly 4 to 5 hours, but because it doesn't overstay its welcome, you feel compelled to replay it with new characters. It does have local multiplayer and online co-op as well. I haven't tried the online, mainly because it requires a Ubisoft account, but the local multiplayer works great. There is also a few extra game modes like Boss Rush or Survival Horror, which helps give the game more replayability. When I beat the game, I had experienced a wide range of emotions within roughly a 5-hour span. High energy music and fun combat, along with recognizable Toronto staples, really put a smile on my face. However, the steep difficulty climb was frustrating, and it led to me replaying the same 2 levels over and over again until I stumbled upon a store by accidentally walking too close to it. But once that was figured out, I was back to having an absolute blast. I highly recommend the game if you have any fondness for beat-em-ups or the Scott Pilgrim franchise, and especially if you're from Toronto. Thanks for watching. On a side note, who stands like this? This doesn't seem natural whatsoever. Anyways, thanks for watching.